Good evening, YouTube. You guys are now watching another segment of TheCaliEffect. Today we're going to be doing the Grandsoil Psychic Deck Profile. For those who have not seen the sagas of the Grandsoil Psychic Deck Profile and want an in-depth synopsis of it, the link is right below, so I urge you guys to watch it if you haven't seen it. It's a pretty good saga. I cover 5 episodes of Grandsoil Psychics, and I get a pretty good in-depth synopsis. But first, let's get down to the build. We're going to run triple Grandsoil. I want Grandsoil to be as live as possible, as fast as possible. It's a level 8, so I really can't make any plays out of that. But it's just so many stupid good plays with this, being able to special summon a monster from either player's graveyard. You really use this to dominate the board. Just OTK potential, just everything is in this card. And it's so easy to put 5 Earth monsters in our graveyard, beginning, mid, and late game. So I've opted to run 3. Next, we're going to run Red Ox. The card that's going to be running the graveyard. It's a level 7 monster, so it makes rank 7 plays pretty easy. The other effect to discard that and something else to special summon is widely used, seeing that most of our monsters are Earth in the deck because we're running Psychics. Just overall a really, really good card. And even at the very worst, it's a 3,000 wall if it need be. Next, we're going to be running 1 Overdrive Teleporter. I know that I get some slack from this card, mainly because if your opponent Valors this card and you paid a 2,000, well, you kind of just lost 2,000 life points. But Psychics are really good at recovering life points, so this card almost seems like nothing. And if you play really well, you can get under the Valor. And what he brings to the board is a little more than what he takes away. Being able to go into an M7, any rank 6, or any level 6 synchro, just so many other stupid options with this card. It's just an amazing card overall, and he's a one-of. He's just overall a good card. He's a Psychic in his name, so he has a lot of things going for him in his deck. He's just a really good card. Next, 1 copy of Gores. It's not really much to be said about him other than he's Gores, and he's a level 7 monster, so it does help us with our rank 7 plays. And you know, the token is pretty nice to synchro summon with using Effect Veiler or whatever. Next, 2 copies of Tragodia. Just overall one of the most versatile boss monsters in the main board. Being able to come to level 7 for rank 7 plays. Being able to go to level 3, 4, or 2 for synchro plays. Overall being a big body monster because we tend to keep a lot of cards in our hand. Pretty high hand count, so he can be abused that way. Just overall very versatile in his deck and very good at making plays. Next, we're going to be running 3 Silent Psychic Wizard. Just overall keeps our field presence. All you have to do is banish a Psychic monster when he's summoned, and keep in mind he's a 1900 beater, the only level 4 monster we do run in the deck. So we use him a lot for rank to go into Synchro 7, or basically just dominate and control the board because of his such of a high attack. Next, 3 Serene Psychic Witch, the main card of the deck. Ultimately, no matter how she's destroyed, Torrential, Dark Hole, any of that trash, you get to banish a Psychic, and then you special summon it during your next turn. Keep in mind, she must be in the graveyard for you to special summon the banished Psychic monster, but that's typically not a problem, especially since nobody really goes after the graveyard like, you know, with DD Crows and stuff. But overall, she's just a really, really, really good card. She gets out any of your Psychic monsters to the field, preferably Esper Girl or your Jumper, and she also kind of skips that, it bringing straight to the field, it skips it, so you don't have to worry about it being summoned and being destroyed in the same turn. Just overall an amazing card. Next, we're going to be running Triple Effect Veiler. Now, Triple Effect Veiler, this deck is primarily built to beat E-Dragons. And Triple Effect Veiler is there to stop the Draco Sack, stop all of those shenanigans, the Debris Dragons, all that other stuff. And it's also a level 1 tuner, so we can go to Crimson Blader and swing at into their monsters to prevent them from special summoning as well. Just overall, really good card against any other deck, but this is the biggest reasons why we use it. Next, we're going to go Triple Maxi. Now, like I said, this deck is strictly built to beat Elemental Dragons. With the Triple Maxi and main board, we want to plus as much as we can from them special summoning and derping. Overall, we can plus and special summoning from anybody else, but Elemental Dragons, it becomes rough. Because the more cards that we get in our hand, the more advantage we can turn to, and we can start taking their monsters. And at very least, Maxi's an Earth monster. Use it for Red Ox. It's an amazing card in that way. Next, we're going to be running 2 Psychic Commanders. He's probably our strongest monster in terms of attack, other than Silent Psychic Wizard, because we pay life points to increase or decrease the attack or defense of a monster. When you have 2 in these board, any of your opponent's monsters that battle can lose up to 1,000 attack, which is pretty good. Overall, he's our best level 3 tuner, and is very easily special summoned. He goes into our 6s, our 7s, just overall a great card. Next is 2 Hush, Psychic Cleric, and it's so many stupid combos with this card. Leo calls this his big girl. 0 attack, 2100 defense. It's nothing, you know, it's not really that bad. The 2000 defense is not really much to scuff at. But overall, you go into your rank 6 plays, and she keeps that Psychic monster banished in your back pocket to be special summoned for more stupid plays. Just combos really, really well with Overdrive Teleporter. Just a really good card. Overall, really good. Next is 2 Card Trooper. We need as many monsters to our graveyard as fast as possible, and Card Trooper helps us with that. Also, the advantage of drawing 1 card when it's destroyed is used a lot. Next, Leo's little girl is Esper Girl. Just really, really good card. When she's banished and special summoned, you get to banish the top card from your deck face down. And then when she's sent to the graveyard again, you get to add that card. So basically our draw engine of the deck. You will see us use this card a lot just because it's so good for that effect. Overall, just really, really good. 1 Psychic Jumper, and this is like, I don't know, our permanent brain control monster. At the cost of 1,000 life points, we can give you one of our Psychic monsters and take one of your monsters of our choice. Really good, especially when we're giving you guys Esper Girl, or Hush Psychic Cleric, or Serene Witch, or, you know, even Silent Psychic Wizard. Because once they get destroyed, we get to get their effects and then abuse more advantage of it. Psychic Jumper is probably really, really good, but only as good at 1 because it's so many ways to search it out, so many ways to bring it back. Next, for spells, we're going to run Triple Emergency Teleport. This is the reinforcements of the army of the deck. Very much needed. You shouldn't run anything less than 3. If Konami somehow allows you to run 4, then run 4. But as many as you can get away with, this card is overall just the roto of the deck. Really good. 2 Pot of Duality. This was a last minute change. I was actually running Creature Swap at first, but I felt that the deck was a little laggy and I wanted to add it consistency. Pot of Duality brings this to us without stopping our special summons too much. And that's the only reason why we run 2 is because we want to open into our plays as fast as possible, but we really don't want to hinder our special summons that bad. Next, Double Typhoon. Obvious reasons. I really shouldn't have to explain that. Book of Moon. 1 Dark Hole. And then Psychic Path. Psychic Path is really, really good for when we use our Red Ox plays. Just anything that vanishes, we get to bring it back. Just overall, really good card when you want to plus 1 off of this card effect. And all it costs is 800 life points. Keep in mind that you don't have to add 2; it's up to 2. So in those clutch plays where you only have 1 Psychic monster banished that you can't get back, you can just Psychic Path it back to your hand. Now, for the extra deck, I'm going to be running Triple Flying, or the side deck, I'm sorry. We're going to run Triple Flying Sea. This deck hates Ophion. That's actually probably one of the biggest problems of the deck, because if they can get Ophion and sit on it with a save zone before we can get our Cyber Jumper and skill it, it's not really much we can do. The card is just really good. So Flying Sea is going to be appropriate for that deck. And just any other deck that just gives us a problem mainly would be Evil Swarms. Next would be Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo. Keep in mind that this is an Earth monster, very abusable in this deck for Red Ox. Another Earth monster in graveyard for Grandsoil. Overall, just stops our opponent from special summoning, so it does really, really well against almost any of our matchups, especially when we want to grind the game down. Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo puts in work. Next, 2XC Encore. Again, Ophion. That deck really bogs us down. So we really wanted to get into that deck's weaknesses, and XC Encore cannot be negated. And it also stops those monsters from being exceeded again into another Ophion. So I'm perfectly fine with that as long as I can get the Ophion off the field. I typically have a lot of other plays, but Ophion is our biggest problem, and XC Encore and Flying Sea addresses them. Next, that extra copy of Mystical Space Typhoon. You never know when you need it. 3 Gozen Match. I can't stress how good this card is, especially against Dragon Rollers. Most of the monsters that we do run are Earth, so we take advantage of that. And since we only run Gozen Match's traps in the side, I'm running Triple Decree. Because we run no other traps, Decree is just really crucial for negating your opponent's traps. I see a lot of back row heavy decks, and Decree is going to take care of that. So I really need that in the extra deck, or side deck, I apologize. Next, for extra deck, our only X seeds are going to be 1 copy of Dracosat, 1 number 11 Big Eye, and 1 Constellar M7. Now, M7 is so stupid when it comes to this deck, because level 7s or level 6s aren't that hard to hit with this deck, and Overdrive Teleporter makes it very easy to go into him. He's overall just pretty clutch for adding any of our monsters back to our hand, or even bouncing a card on my opponent's side of the field to their hand to get them for that final push again. Just overall really good card. Next one, Crimson Blader. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Scrap Dragon, that's pretty obvious as well. Thought Ruler Archfiend really isn't that obvious, but it's a psychic monster, it's level 8. Any monster that we run over, we gain the attack of in our life points. So it really helps us recover from all the life points that we do pay. But the biggest thing about it is if our opponent tries to target our stuff with Deep Prison or any of that other trash, Thought Ruler Archfiend, at the simple cost of 1,000 life points, we can negate that. So we have an out in the form of an 8-star monster, pretty easy to hit, and Thought Ruler Archfiend pretty much gets the job done. Next, 1 Stardust Dragon, 1 Black Rose Dragon, 1 Psychic Life Transfer. Really, the biggest reason why I run it is because it's a psychic monster that I can hit for. The 1,200 life points is pretty nice, but she really helps with a lot of other plays. It's just graveyard manipulation and so many other good things. She's just overall an amazing card. 1 Notoria Parkeon, 1 HTS Psyhemoth, 1 Armadas, 1 Ally Justice Catastrophe, 1 Notoria Beast, and last, 1 Magical Android. I've gained so many life points out of this card. It's just stupid when you sit on a Magical Android and 4 other Psychics, and then plus all that life points. You're like, alright, now I can pay life points for just about anything, and I can do whatever I want. Android is so clutch in this deck, mainly because this isn't the only Psychic monster we have, and its effect is pretty nice when you get to sit on it for at least 2 turns, and at least 2 other Psychics. It becomes very problematic from your opponent, especially, actually, what I found it to be very good against is Burn. Is that you just summon this monster, and then you summon other psychic monsters. I know it's a douchebag move, and then you go into time. You just sit there, gain all that life points, and go into time. Burn players can't do a thing about it. Or if you just really wanted to do that, you can either go for your Barkion or Beast. But if you really want to be that jerk, go on to Android and just sit on all your psychic monsters. Burn players can't do a thing about that. But thank you guys for watching another segment of The Cali Effect. Please like, comment, subscribe, but most of all, enjoy.